Welcome back to Hero Movement. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about home training. So with the current situation, most people are going to be training at home with the gyms closed. And you might be wondering kind of what to do, how to make it work. So I thought I'd make this video just to give a little insight into what I've been doing the last month or so. Partly to give you a few ideas what to do with certain bits of equipment, but also to kind of demonstrate that you don't need a whole lot of expensive stuff to have an effective workout or training session at home. So you can build strength and general physical preparedness with little to nothing. Hope this video is useful. Let me know if you've got any questions or comments down below. I'll include links to any products that I mention or similar versions of them in the description as well. So these bits of equipment, I'll group some of them together just because it's a bit easier and you'll typically use them together. The first would be a body and a bit of space. And neither of them have to be the most advanced, or like you don't need a really state-of-the-art training facility. Any body will do, any space will do. I'm lucky I've got a bit of decking out the back. Very fortunate I get to use that. But I realised the other day I actually only I train in an area that's probably like 1.5 meters by 2 meters. So I'm fortunate to have a bit more space than that, but I don't think I necessarily need much more than that, particularly for body weight exercises. So with calisthenics, sometimes there's the misconception that it's only useful for kind of high rep exercises, so push-ups or air squats, but you can build considerable strength by altering leverage with bodyweight movements. So it's not going to be exactly the same as using a barbell. The barbell is easier to load and easier to measure that load. If we take a push-up, for example, you can advance from standard push-ups to pseudo planche push-ups, and then even start to work on one-arm push-up variations or even planche push-ups. Similarly with squats, you can progress from air squats to shrimp squats or pistol squats. You can build considerable strength with those exercises. Again, might not be the same as loading up a load of weight with a back squat, but sometimes a situation like this where you're restricted can actually force you to be a bit more creative. It gives your body a chance to learn a new skill, and maybe having a break away from heavy squatting, if that's something that you do on a regular basis, might actually do your body good. So yeah, it's worth experimenting with. Reddit bodyweight fitness subreddit is a great place to start for bodyweight strength movements and programming. And I also have a book coming out, hopefully within the next month or so, that is geared all around that too. So the next grouping of equipment would be a pull-up bar and or some gymnastic rings. So if I was only allowed one piece of equipment, then it would be one of these two, depending on situation. So if you've already got something that you can hang rings from, like a tree branch or, I don't know, a climbing frame, then I'd opt for that over a pull-up bar. Otherwise, a doorway pull-up bar and then a set of rings. They are not expensive typically, and they're a very good investment because they should last a long time. They're also very versatile, so they open up a lot of pull-in movements, pull-ups, pull-up variations, and then with the rings you have things like muscle-ups, front levers, back levers, and more advanced gymnastic moves too. So if you can combine a pull-up bar or gymnastic rings with your other bodyweight exercises, then you pretty much have your calisthenics toolkit complete. You don't necessarily need any more than that to make excellent progress. So if you're looking for a super minimalist setup, then that would be my advice, my recommendation. If you want to take things a step further, then a kettlebell might be a good investment. I know right now they're not that easy to get hold of. I was lucky, I managed to get a few on eBay. I managed to pick up a 24 kilo one and a 32, and they were more expensive than I would like to have paid for them, but they weren't too crazy. So with the kettlebell, it opens up a lot of options with regards to more kind of power-based movements. So the kettlebell swing, you've got a hip hinge there, things like cleans and snatches, and then even more strength-based movements like overhead presses and rows, and even like a bench press. It's a very versatile piece of equipment. I think it complements bodyweight training quite nicely as well. And I feel like a lot of kettlebell movements transfer over to athletic environments as well. So yeah, a couple of kettlebells. I think a 16, a 24 and a 32 is often regarded as kind of like a really complete kit, maybe one or two lighter ones as well. But yeah, they don't take a whole lot of space up. We've got a rack in the shed just filled with kettlebells. They're versatile, and once you buy them, they should last you the rest of your life. The next recommendation would be some form of resistance bands. So there's a few types. The thicker, heavier resistance bands are useful for a lot of mobility exercises and for assisting or added resistance to some bodyweight exercises. Then there's kind of the thinner, more tubular bands. They're really good for prehab, rehab work, for strengthening the rotator cuff. So getting hold of a cheap set of bands, I think I got mine for like 10 quid off Amazon. They're not essential, but they can come in handy. They're really portable, easy to store away. Next thing would be some form of rope. So you could get a cheap skipping rope. Did a video a couple of weeks ago on rope training and the kind of heavy rope training, rope flow. So again, that unlocks another whole set of exercises and movement patterns in terms of rotation. It's also a useful tool for working on your cardiovascular system. So I've actually been using a rope from Octo Moves the past week or so. So that might be worth experimenting with too. They've been kind enough to offer you guys 10% off. Use the code HERO at octomoves.com. You can get 10% off any of their ropes. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. They're just really kind and offered you guys that discount. So yeah, feel free to go and check them out. My next priority would be a set of parallettes or parallel bars. So these are not necessary. They are a nice thing to have, particularly if you're doing planche push-up variations or kind of pike push-ups or handstand push-ups. They help you increase the range of motion of some of those bodyweight movements to make them a little bit harder. And they are a little bit nicer on the wrists if you're doing a lot of heavy pushing stuff. Again, not necessary, but they can come in handy. Either parallel bars or some form of step. So like kind of the Reebok gym steps. But again, you could use chairs. Steps also come in handy for things like split squats as well, step ups or decline calf raises, and can sometimes double up as a bench. So yeah, either some parallettes or some steps, or both would be kind of my next priority. Then last but not least, we have kind of the Olympic lifting weight set, squat rack, that sort of thing. So they're nice to haves if you've got the space, if you've got the money to invest to kind of build out your own home gym. Having a squat rack, having an Olympic barbell and weight set opens up a lot more options when it comes to building raw strength. But I don't believe they are necessary for everyone. Plenty of people have got strong from using bodyweight exercises and or kettlebells, which right now might be a more realistic option for most people. So yeah, you don't need a massive toolkit to be able to make progress, to get stronger, to improve your general physical preparedness. Most of it can be done for free or with very little investment, and then there are some nice little extras you can add in, but don't feel like you have to. Sometimes we can get this fear of missing out, or if we're used to training a certain way, we want to carry on training a certain way. Just know that there are options. We don't always have to rely on gyms being open or having specific bits of equipment available for us to be able to move and to train our bodies and to grow as people as well. So yeah, hope this video was useful in some shape or form. Feel free to let me know if you've got any questions or comments down below. And if you enjoyed, then yeah, do the subscribe. Thanks for watching, stay safe, see you next time.